everybody made all their own stuff. Whether it was arrows, arrowheads, spear points, knives, you know, stone tools, bows, arrows, everything. Every man made his own stuff all the time, constantly doing things. Other tribes associated us with ants. Every time you see an ant, it's going somewhere doing something.
Right.
Other tribes in the southeast associated us with it because we were constantly running around doing things. Now, to make stone tools, you got to have a rock that flakes, right? You got to have something to flake it with. Now, when you make stone tools, the whole thing is based off of an angle, right?
Right.
Anything less than 90-degree angle works, okay? Now you just take a simple hammerstone like this, by tapping on the rock, you can remove a flake, right? That's your first stone tool because you made sharp edges. But you'll go around this thing, deciding on where you want to take the flake off, strike it, remove the flake. But it goes a little bit further than that, okay? Because you're also going to be using the base of antlers. Let's see, what did I do with my deer antler? Did I put it back up? I probably did. Yeah, I did. I always put my tools up when I'm not using it. Now, the base of deer antler can be used just like a hammer, and we can tap flakes off with this. Again, based off of angles, right? Now let me look at this thing and decide where I want to take a flake off of this at for you folks. I really need to take one right there because it's flat. It's got a thick spot all along this edge right here. And I want to take off that thick spot right there. So I'm going to take a hammerstone and I'm just going to clip on it like this a little bit, right? If you have a natural angle, you use it. If you don't have a natural angle, you make it. Just by chipping on it like this, I have made an angle right here. Now, because I've chipped on it and removed flakes, I've made it sharp. I don't want to hit sharp edges, all right? Sharp edges crush. And so I'm going to grind it down just a little bit with an abrasive stone. Now, when you use these stones, they come in different varieties. Anything from coarse to medium to a fine grade, okay? Now, I've ground it down. I've got a blunt edge. Don't want to hit sharp edges, they shatter. Now I'm just going to take it and I'm going to tap on it with this antler and remove a flake down through here, removing some of this thick area right here. That is the intended flake. If it doesn't come off in 3 hits, something's wrong, okay? The answer isn't hit it harder. The answer is correct the angle, okay? And so I'm going to take the tip of a deer antler like this. Remember what I said, if you don't have the angle, you make it?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go down through here and I'm going to redo this angle, change it up just a little bit, and that's how we sharpened the tool, was to just chip on it like that with the tip of an antler. This time I'm not going to grind it so severely. That antler may have just been bouncing off of it. I still want to take that flake off right there, folks. And I have thinned that area right there by deciding where I want to take the flake off and removing it, okay? Now what I'm doing is actually carving a rock by flaking it. Now, once I actually get it thin, I don't want to hit it anymore because I run the risk of breaking it. And so what I'm going to do is take the tip of this antler to sharpen this up and to finish it out and further thin it. I'm just going to push flakes off of it. And I'm going to take the tip of this antler and put it up against the edge right here and just lean on it, okay? You don't got to be strong to do this. You just have to know how it's done. Make sure the antler gets a good bite, lean on it, and remove the flake. Now I can go down this entire thing taking these flakes off. Excuse me. Taking these flakes off like this, sharpening it and shaping it to what I want, right? Now the entire time I'm doing this, I got a certain project in mind. And so I'm pushing it to that shape, right? Now, using this technique also, folks, I can take a flake off of a rock, okay, and I can make an arrowhead out of that flake.
Cool. Yeah.
And it don't take me about 5 or 10 minutes. It doesn't take me a long time to do this. But this came from right here. This gives you a good idea of how this technique works. Right? The flake I took off on right here. Then the next flake I took off was right here. See how that works?
Keep making more.
Yeah. And it didn't take us long to do it. Okay, it didn't take very long to do this at all. Now,
That's neat.
It's
I'm
amazing.
gonna put my tools up because I think it might start raining.
Yeah.
It
No.
might.
Take care of your tools because they take care of you.
Right.
Okay, right.
She says that all the time.
Yes, I do.
This, honey,
It's wise.
I've had that antler for 21 years.
Wow.
Nice.
I've made a lot of arrowheads with that antler right there. Okay, I've had that thing 21 years, but I take care of it.
Yeah.
I put all my tools up when I'm not using them, clean them up. You got to do tool maintenance once in a while because beating on the edge of rocks, you're going to get little divots in it, right? Now, another thing that we were doing back then, right? Only takes minutes to make the arrowhead, right? You've seen that. You can understand how that works. Now, arrows themselves, we used a piece of river cane, just like the blowgun. We use cane for all kinds of stuff, okay?
Really?
Yeah, it's multi-use. You can make baskets out of it. We made the mats that we put in the houses. We made blowguns. We made arrows. We built the houses out of cane. You could eat cane when it's real small. It's about 80% protein. It's like bamboo shoots and Chinese food, okay?
Nice.
Stuff like that. Now, we at certain times after they get old and mature, they put off a seed. You can gather that seed, smash it up, make a dish out of that, make a meal, make a bread out of it, right? Yeah. It's good for the environment when it floods and that water goes through that cane like that because of the way it's made. It will catch dirt and impurities and gather up on the cane. When you go out down by the river, the cane looks kind of dirty. It'd be green, but you know, you look at it, it's dirty.
Huh.
It's a
Interesting.
filter. Now, making arrows like this.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, neat. Do you see the feather?
Yeah.
It's
It's a
not
two
like-
feather fletch.
yeah.
Now, of course, we did use three feather, like let's see, like that. We used three feather equally the same, right? But we also used a two feather. Now, some people call it the two feather Cherokee fletch, the Seminole fletch, the Creek fletch. It's a southeastern fletch. All the tribes in the southeast practice this one,
Cool.
but all of them also practice a three feather fletch too, right? It's all personal preference how you want to make your arrows. Bows back then, being made out of hickory, ash, elm, locust, really didn't matter what you use, you can make a bow out of anything. I myself prefer to use yellow locust, okay? Now, what I've done, every man makes his own bow. He makes his own tools, makes his own everything, right? And so I've actually cut this out. The size, the shape, the strength of it is determined by me. It's gonna be my bow, so I wanna make it custom fit to me, right?
Right.
Now, after I've made it, I'll rub the entire thing down with bear grease. That bear grease is going to soak into that wood and create a seal. With age, this yellow locust will turn brown like this one. This one right here is about 5 years old.
Oh,
Okay.
that's neat.
Strings being made from a bear's intestine. Okay, we're going to take that intestine, cut it in long strips, clean it real good, dry it out, weave them together. We're going to take pine sap because we want to seal it, just like we did the bow with the grease. We take pine sap and rub it into that string all over it. And you always carry extra strings,
Right.
right? Stringless lifestyle. We never know what's going to happen to this thing, so we want to have extras with us.
That's
Now,
awesome.
we'll slip over here. Jeff is right here. So he's going to demonstrate the bow for you.
Oh, that's cool.
Jeff's the first person we've seen out here. Everybody else ran away. All trading deer hides somewhere, I bet. That's who we tell you. Jeff O'Teal. Now, you notice the kind of tips he's using is actually brass tips. We were trading for the brass kettles. When they tore up, we didn't throw them away. We recycled them.
Huh.
I'm going to let Jeff shoot for you. I'm going to get me a drink of water over here.
All right.
Doing a lot of talking.
Now, if you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to ask Jeff.
I didn't ask him nothing. He's got the bow. Okay. How about that?
Are there any questions?
Getting cold.
Gonna fix-
How do you
let know
aim?
that, first arrow.
Yeah.
Basically, what I was doing right there was just a snapshot.
Snap.
Pull back and let go.
Uh-huh.
But when we actually do hunt, we actually do aim. Pull, fall, or full draw back, anchor, and look down the shaft of the arrow itself. Kind of like pointing your finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, if you got the fletching of it, if it's off at any point,
What you got a
It'll take your
little burn on there?
you know,
Yeah.
that quill
take your skin off.
Yeah.
cut into you. I mean, I've had it to the point where, and I'm still to this day, I still don't know how it happened. But as it went, I guess there was a piece of that quill that was loose, and as it came off, it stuck into my hand.
Wow.
Ah,
And so as I pulled it out,
Ow.
I just got like something just sliced it.
that
Yeah.
sucks.
But yeah, like I said, I got fixed that fletching at the first arrow. But other than that, other ones are
Uh-huh.
perfectly fine. But if it does that, it kind of plays with your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit gun shy.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Very cool.
Making his bows
More
and everything
bows.
out here.
Bows over here.
Every man made their own bow,
Nice.
have extras as well, extra strings.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
gonna have to start trying,
Well, yeah,
trying to do
strings
that myself.
break.
Yeah, you got some good yellow locust over there around there. Okay, Bodark.
I look over by okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What they call Bodark around here in Cherokee, we call it what the long day. Yellow locust.
Okay.
That's why you say that name of that tree in Cherokee.
Huh.
But it goes by different names.
Yeah.
Osage orange, people call it. People up around Kansas call it hedge.
Okay.
The Osage orange, yellow locust, hedge. What's another one besides Bodark? Yeah, horse apple.
Oh, okay.
Horse
At
apple
your
tree.
house.
That's a good bow.
Yeah,
Summer.
makes a real good bow.
Well, I can identify one of them.
Now, when you say thank you in Cherokee, we
Yeah.
say, what don?
Well done.
What don, Jeff?
Well done.
No, he acknowledged it.
Well done.
He's not saying you're welcome. When you say well, it's like saying, okay.
Well done.
Oh. Now, naturally, the main form of transportation that we used was actually, besides walking, was a canoe.
Yeah.
The simple dugout canoe. Now, we would go miles inland to find just the right tree to make a canoe out of. We selected a tree, burn it down. Again, we didn't cut them down. We burned them down, just piping mud and clay around it, the base of it, up as high as we could reach, building fires around it, letting it burn itself out from under itself. Once we did that, once we had it on the ground, we would come down here and we would, all the men did this, partook in doing this. We would use the fire to hollow the whole thing out. Once we hollowed it out, we'd roll it over, shave the bottom of it off as flat as we could possibly get it. Now, when we tapered it, we didn't taper it like this, like a canoe you see in the Illinois River down here on the float trip places.
Yeah.
We tapered it like this.
On the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the canoe basically was every bit as wide as what it is like right here. And it was tapered like that on both ends. So no matter what way you jumped in it, you're facing that way, you're facing that way, you're facing the right way. It worked. Now these canoes like this were made anywhere from 15 to 35 foot long.
Really?
Now what was you saying about the wood?
I was just wondering what the purpose was. Is it just to help keep the fire going, or?
Yeah, it's just firewood. Trey comes out here and works on this.
Oh, okay.
Now, I made one last spring, last April, a year ago last April. It took me 5 weeks. The Cherokee Nation came, seen it. First dugout canoe had been finished in a long time. They took it. Not bad, eh?
Yeah.
They took it. They commissioned me to do it. Put it that way.
Yeah,
They commissioned me to make it. It took me 5 weeks to actually make the whole entire thing, and they put it inside of a casino
Really?
Great.
Cool.
as an art display.
Yeah. Cool.
But I do a lot of stuff like that for them. If they want something done primitive, they'll come talk to me.
Huh.
Nice.
Cool.
So the Cherokees were quite the craft people?
Yes, yes. Now, talking about canoes, okay, in 2008, I think it was, they found a canoe in northeast Arkansas. I think it was about 22 foot long. The sides of it were only 3/4 of an inch thick. Weren't even as wide as my thumb.
Wow.
Now, that's some fine
They
work
real-
to be
they-
doing
they-
with fire and stone.
Right.
They whew.
They were good at it, but then they did it all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Now every man made those canoes, and so every man in the village had the right to use it anytime he wanted to.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You help make it; it's part yours.
Yeah.
You don't got to ask to use it. You
All
just
right.
go pick out the canoe you want to use and take it. Like this, from right here. Okay, from about right here to that stump right there. That's about 30-something foot. So the canoes would be that big.
Wow.
You know. Now
that
last
is
year,
huge.
buddy of mine, in South Alabama, archaeologist. I'm working in a museum, so I'm keeping contact with archaeologists. He writes me and says, "Guess what we found? It was a canoe. It was 33 foot long by 3 foot wide. It was in the silty soils of the banks.
Really?
One of the rivers down there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
bad as bone. It was bad.
I'd love to see that.
Hurricane Irma, okay, when that hurricane went through just a couple months back, threw a canoe that was buried in the sand off the coast of Florida.
Huh.
Threw it out on the banks.
Wow.
People were down there saying, "Go get it, go get it, go get
Oh,
it."
yeah,
Hurry,
that-
get it. Before, because nobody really knew what it was. Just
Yeah.
somebody seen it and said, "Hey, that's a canoe. It's a dugout canoe." Before they hauled it off with the trash.
Oh,
Because
no.
they'd go through there and clean places up like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everybody was on it. I
Oh,
guess
you
somebody
want
did
that.
get it. I
You
hope.
wanna preserve that. Wow.
Now this one right here, okay. Now with houses, you ladies have summer houses and winter houses, right?
Yes.
Just houses, you own them. But like houses, we have summer council houses and winter council houses.
Oh.
Neat.
Now with summer council house, you see right here, it's got open walls. It's an open loft, okay? It's a good place to sit when it's hot outside in a shaded area. Now you
Yeah.
gotta imagine, there's no trees in a village.
Mm-hmm.
All the trees we've used to burn for firewood, to make furniture out of, to make houses out of, so it's pretty bare, okay? And so, shade is a valued commodity to
Right.
us at this
Yeah.
point. So we're making shade arbors everywhere, right? We make wind arbors also, because sometimes seasons are windy,
Right.
and we like to get out of the wind. So it's a good place. We'd make wind arbors, just have somewhere where you can sit and be out of the wind, be outside, talking. Now, this one over here, the winter council house. Now we'll step in here
Okay.
because it is winter time. It don't feel like it, but it is winter time.
Starting to now.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like a fire.
Yeah, when it gets real cold, we come in here and build fires. Now, you look around, you see that we have several different seating areas, okay? Because there's 7 different families in Cherokee society. Now, one, right here, Paint Clan. Another one would sit right here, which is Wolf Clan. Now, you get these clans from your mother, okay? You are who your mother is.
Okay.
So like, Sequoia, you know Sequoia, right? Victor of the Silver.
Yeah, you need the alphabet.
Yes. His mother was Paint Clan, so that made him Paint Clan.
Mm-hmm.
You know Sequoia is the only person in the history of written history to create a written language by himself, and he was a Cherokee.
Mm-hmm.
That's really amazing.
Now over here, this is my wife's clan. The Deer Clan would sit right here.
Do you have any idea what we are? Didn't ask?
I don't know.
How do you find out?
You ask your mama.
Oh, that doesn't work.
You get your clan, okay.
Her mom was gone.
No, yeah, you have to ask your mother.
Okay. So
Okay,
what,
even your mother's brothers, her sisters, her grandma, her aunts, but it's all gonna be on that mother's side.
okay, so what happens if, my Indian heritage is from my father's side? Does that,
You won't have a clan.
oh, so I'm clanless.
Yeah, you're clanless. You're clanless. That doesn't mean.
Sans clan.
That doesn't mean you don't have Cherokee blood in you. It just means you don't have a clan. Because you get your clan from your mother.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, like this, okay? My wife is Deer Clan. That makes my kids Deer Clan because they get clan from the mother. Okay? My father's Wolf Clan. His mother was Wolf Clan. His father was Wolf Clan. Right? But you get your clan from your mother, so my father's Wolf Clan. His mama was Wolf Clan. He's Wolf Clan.
Okay.
Long Hair Clan would sit right here. Over here, again, my father's Wolf Clan, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mother's Bird Clan. So that makes me Bird Clan, right? But clans won't pass through men, okay? Even though I'm full-blood Cherokee and I have a clan, Bird Clan, that clan won't pass through me.
Mm-mm.
But my wife is Deer Clan,
So your kids will
and
be
so
different.
my kids are Deer Clan. And when they get married and have children, regardless of who they marry, they're gonna be Deer Clan, because you are who your mother is.
Right.
Okay, put it this way, There is a DNA structures, right, we all got DNA in us, all of us do, right?
Right.
There's a certain DNA structure that only passes through women. It's It's called the mitochondrial DNA. It won't pass through a man, it only goes through women.
Interesting.
One of these days, them scientists, you know how smart they are, they're gonna figure that out, to come up to men like me and test my mitochondrial DNA. And not just take my word for it, but test other people who are Bird Clan. You know, we have over 150,000 members in the Cherokee Nation alone. That's not counting the Eastern Band, and that's not counting United Kituah Band. That's just Cherokee Nation. 350,000 is how many we got. Very few of us can sit there and say, honestly, I'm Bird Clan, or I'm Deer Clan, you know.
What
very
happened
few
to the
people
clan
know.
lists? Were they less than in the society, or
No.
where would they
everybody's important.
sit since they were clanless?
You would probably sit with a guest, or you'd sit with long hair, because a lot of people got adopted by long hair.
Oh, interesting.
But you would be adopted too. You could be adopted, although you couldn't be adopted by your dad's clan.
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
you-
You
Why?
couldn't be adopted by your dad.
Huh?
That's,
That's
But maybe more than your mama is.
right.
Okay.
My mom was French Canadian, so that doesn't really help out.
Well, you would be French. And whatever clan